I've had 2 classes this semester that are lecture oriented, and I've never been in that kind of atmosphere before, in which the teacher speaks and writes on a board and presents a PowerPoint for an hour and a half to 3 hours. I did not have the capacity to pay attention for that long of a time. It's not in me. I couldn't do it. It's not who I am. That's what I felt was my plight at the beginning of the semester. I wasn't built that way. But I was going to have to stay in that class regardless, because it was a gen ed requirement. So I had to make do. I'm not going to fail any classes. That's also in me. So I have to push through it for a semester. So what do? I get online and I find this. A ton of silly putty. It keeps me awake during my lectures. Having this stuff gives me something to do. It keeps my brain awake. So I can mess with this with my hands, I can fiddle, but I can also pay attention. Now, note-taking is kind of impeded with this, just because I'm using my hands for this instead of that. But I retain so much more information because I have something to fiddle with. So, where at one point I thought that my personality wouldn't allow me to maintain an awareness of the teacher and the lesson for that long, I realized and I figured out that I can change my personality. I can change my attention span. It's funny just because I can mold this in any way I want. It can go any direction. And in the same way, I can do that with my mind. I can change my preferences. I can change my personality. I can change my work ethic. I can also change my sleep patterns, which I'm figuring out now. That, by the way, went well. My first night in 3 months that I went to bed on time, which was 10 o'clock. I woke up at 8, I think. 8 o'clock, that sounds right. So I got 10 hours of sleep. I feel pretty darn good. I haven't felt like this in a long time. So I can change. That's what I'm getting at here. That's why I'm doing the sweet thing or the no sweet thing. That's why I'm getting to bed earlier. That's why I'm doing this regularly. Where at one point I thought I couldn't handle it. I have figured out a way to do it so that I can. We often have visions of how we want to accomplish something. There's what we want to do, and then there's how we want to accomplish it. And I think that step, the how, often gets in the way of the goal, in that big dreams often have many ways to get there. They often have many ways to accomplish that thing. So I often get discouraged when my goals aren't getting done how I expected them to go. And so it throws me off. And so I don't accomplish the goal at all because of that. I need to realize that there are a lot of different routes. There are a lot of different ways to get things done. and prioritizing the goal instead of prioritizing which paths I take is going to get me to what I'm trying to accomplish a lot quicker. And it's also going to help me not get discouraged when the path I'm taking is a slow one. This is us. We can go any way we want. We can be stretched. We can be torn. Oh no, that's not torn. Torn. This is us. We're flexible. We're malleable. Don't give yourself excuses not to accomplish something just because it's not how you intended it to. Don't give your excuses from your personality, because you can change it. So much of our lives are in our own hands. That's pretty intimidating, isn't it? Because there's some responsibility there. Let's see what we can do with that responsibility.